Alright, so here's a real world situation with absolute values, and this is 100% a real life situation that you can counter all the time, especially if you're in something like quality assurance or manufacturing, right? Or any technical skill trade. You need to understand tolerances, right? So we have a machine part, and maybe it's a bolt or something. It's supposed to be 5.25 inches long. Okay, the length's got to be 5.25 inches long. All right, so make a little. Here's my bolt. Okay, it's my bolt head, and then I have my screw, my threaded part. That's my bolt, right? And my bolt is supposed to be, ideal world, 5.25 inches in length. Okay? The tolerance is within 0.03 inches. So that means it can be 0.03 inches this way, or it can be within 0.303 inches that way, right? So another way to think about it, it's 5.5 or 5.25 inches plus or minus 0.03 inches. So it's going to be, on the high end is easy, my range in which the bolt length can be. It's going to be as long as 5.28 inches, because that's 0.25 plus 0.03, and the minimum it can be is 5.22 inches, right? And then ideally it's right there in between those two. So the minimum, again, and the maximum, 5.22 inches and 5.28 inches. Okay, so that's pretty intuitive. If so the work for that, it would be 5.25 plus or minus 0.03, because it's minimum, minus 0.03, and then it's going to be 5.25 plus 0.03. Okay, so on the number line, let's show a maximum and a minimum value. As we'll do 5.25 right there, and then minimum is 5.22, and a maximum is 5.28, and they're roughly the same distance. So let's see, 5.25, and then it'd be like 5.24, and then 5.23, 5.22. All right, so then we have 5.26, 5.27, and 5.28. Right, so that's what it would look like on a number line with all the different things, and then you could have smaller ones in between, right, if you really wanted to, but yes, that's going above and beyond. Right, so to write an algebraic equation for this, it's my length, we'll call it M, is what this thing is saying. It's going to be the length that describes this range is M minus 5.25. The absolute value of that is 0.03, because this is describing the tolerance, right? So if I'm going to go, well, I have to start at 5.25, right? And I want to figure out what my M is. I start right here, and it's going to be the absolute value from that, right? So if let's deconstruct this to explain why it works. Okay, so if I want to take the absolute value, if I want to find this, I gotta take the absolute value of both sides. This gives me M minus 5.25 equals the plus or minus of 0.03, right? So then you bring this over here, and it would be 5.25 equals or plus or minus 0.03, and that equals M, right? So that's how you'd start, right? So I start with describing it. My absolute value is saying, hey, I have to start at 5.25. It's going to be plus or minus 0.03, and that's going to equal whatever my length can be, right? So this is another way to say plus or minus is the absolute value, right, of 0.03. Okay, so I'm just going to be bring this over here to get that by itself. So it'll be 5.25 equals the absolute m minus that equals the absolute value of 0.03, because that's what absolute value is. It's plus or minus that number. Okay, and then you could drop in those numbers there and you'd see that you'd get the answers. M minus 5.25 equals 0.03, and m minus 5.25 equals negative 0.03, right? Bring those to each side. So it's going to be m equals 5.25 plus 0.03. M equals 5.25 minus 0.03. And then m equals 5.28. That's my maximum. Well, you can't see what I'm doing. My maximum, and m equals 22, excuse me, 22. Right, so that is how that all stuff works. Let's do another one. Oh, never mind. It just has us to so these are a little bit more sophisticated here. So let's go ahead and get everything on this side. We want to isolate the variable term, and the variable term is this, right? So let's get negative 15 equals, it's going to be positive 15 because I'm going to move it to the other side. Turn it to positive 15 equals 3 times quantity x plus 2. Not quantity, the absolute value of x plus 2. I can't take the absolute value yet because this is 3 times the absolute value, so I'm going to divide by 3. Right, so it's going to be 5 equals the absolute value of x plus 2. Right, now take the absolute value of both sides. Right, so it's going to be 2 equations. 5 equals x plus 2, and negative 5 equals x plus 2. So this is going to be, therefore, x equals 5 minus 2, and x equals negative 5 minus 2, and that equals 3 and negative 7. So there's that one. Okay, here's this one. It's a little different. Let's get the 9 over here. The process is the same though. Right, so we get the 9 over there. It's going to be the absolute value of negative 4x plus 2, and absolute value equals 9. Now I take the absolute value of both sides to break these bars up. So it's going to be negative 4x plus 2 equals 9, and negative 4x plus 2 equals negative 9. Okay, so let's remember the absolute value of ours break up into plus or minus whatever's there. Okay, so this is going to go over here. So it's going to be negative 4 x equals 9 minus 2, which is 7, and negative 4x equals negative 9 minus 2, which is negative 11. So divide both sides by negative 4. It's going to be x equals negative 7 fourths, and x equals positive 11 fourths. So there's that one. Okay, we'll do one more because it's almost under 10 minutes here. Okay, so then I have, let's see, this one, I guess. All right, so here's a negative one. Let's do this one. This is a negative one. All right, move the 7 over here. All right, so it's going to be a negative absolute value of x minus 3 equals negative 7. Now I got to divide both sides by this negative 1, because that's negative 1 right there. Right? So that's going to be the absolute value of x minus 3 equals negative divided by negative is a positive equals 7. Now clear the absolute value bars by saying x minus 3 equals plus or minus 7. So x minus 3 equals positive 7, x minus 3 equals negative 7. So x equals 7 plus 3, and x equals negative 7 plus 3. So that's going to be equal to 10 and negative 4. Okay, so that's it. Just over 10 minutes. Hope that helped.